Cheers.
The humpback's plight has become a symbol of the negative effects of the dam, but there have been positive ones as well. There are numerous government and private agencies working in the canyon to understand the various aspects of the ecology. Conservation issues are hard to quantify because environments are dynamic. They're always changing. As the days passed, I missed the conveniences of home less and less, and started to notice all that was around me. The canyon, ranging in altitude between 2,000 and 9,000 feet, supports diverse life zones, allowing a great variety of plants and animals to flourish. On the main river, the water temperature was about 50 degrees due to cold water from the bottom of Lake Powell running through the dam. But here in the tributary, the water was much warmer. Richard and Miriam were married just a few days before flying to Arizona to meet us. This was their honeymoon. No Hotel California for them. They had never been here before, and as Richard said, it's a pilgrimage every serious whitewater boater wants to make. Sleeping out in the open in 1869, John Wesley Powell wrote, "What a chamber for a resting place this is, hewn from solid rock, the heavens for a ceiling." The longer you stay, the more clearly you hear the song of the river, singing of harmony and natural order. At a time when it's harder and harder to find a truly isolated spot, this was the most remote place I'd ever been, and it was a powerful experience.
Cosa qua? Mi sembra una cosa veramente strana.
It's a hot 35mm camera from Canon.
Just a camera.
Sembra sospetto.
The Canon Fotura. With futuristic flash, automatic one-hand control, and long-range power zoom lens. Fotura.
You have to come with us.
It's just a camera.
Please.
The Fotura from Canon. So advanced, it's simple.
Enjoy the Payless difference, smashing rates, and faultless service.
I like to work hard. My play is my work, and my work is my play. So when I have to rent a car, I relax. Thank you, Payless.
Oh, yeah. The driving force of the night is Payless.
Which publication tells you about hundreds of great jobs open across the country right now? High-paying professional, managerial, and technical jobs. The National Business Employment Weekly. Which publication helps you land one of those jobs with articles on how to sharpen your resume, how to shine in interviews, how to market yourself. The National Business Employment Weekly. Which publication helps you do better after you land a great job, get along with your boss, get a raise, get promoted. The National Business Employment Weekly, published by the Wall Street Journal. It's all you need besides your own ability to land and do well in the kind of job you've been looking for in a part of the country you'll enjoy at a salary you could be proud of. It's all you need. Get the National Business Employment Weekly at your newsstand or order by credit card and get 8 issues by first-class mail for $35. Call 800-372-3000. 800-372-3000. The National Business Employment Weekly. Don't make a career move without it.
About halfway through his pioneering journey down the Colorado, Major John Wesley Powell observed that each wall of the canyon is a composite structure, a wall composed of many walls, but never a repetition. We were discovering the truth of that as we passed through canyons with mile-high vertical walls. Newlyweds Richard and Miriam combined their considerable whitewater skills in a double kayak, which allowed them to reach speeds that would not have been attainable in a single. Above Upset Rapid, their cruise was quick and sure. Whitesell followed in his open canoe. With the exception of the rafts, his was the longest sport boat on the river. Doing my John Wayne impression, I rode the bow of the oarboat like a bucking bronco. Later that afternoon, we found ourselves on a stretch of quiet water, an alcove of solitude amidst rapids too numerable to count. As you said, Regan, I mean, this is one of the 7 natural wonders of the world, and if we as Americans can't protect this, I mean, what can we protect? Our priorities are really out of whack if we can't take a look at this fabulous stone cathedral with this river winding down it and not see fit to take care of it. It'd just be a shame. One long-range solution to some of these problems is for us to start raising a generation of environmentally conscious children and making conservation and environmentalism as big a part of a child's education as math and reading. A good place to start would be right here with the wildlife of the Grand Canyon. There are no less than 291 species of birds here. Bighorn sheep are but one of 67 types of mammals. They thrive in steep, rocky terrain. The preservation of the canyon is of paramount concern to all, but experts are having a hard time agreeing on priorities.
Well, there are a number of really important issues being debated over the Grand Canyon right now. One of the ones that's in the news mostly is peaking power, the release of water through Glen Canyon Dam and the impact it's having on the Grand Canyon ecosystem. The air pollution that's being released from the same area from the power plant at Page and that seems to be affecting the views within the Grand Canyon, obscuring them. Uranium mining, it has been a real controversial issue with regard to the canyon, and although it's presently on hold, we could see that change momentarily. The Havasupai Indians could see the ending of their religion from some of the uranium mining that's going to be happening in their sacred lands. For 27 years, Glen Canyon Dam has been operated to make sure that the water deliveries were met downstream to California, Arizona, Nevada, and the country of Mexico, and to make electricity, which makes money. Now we're in a position and a place in time where we have to try to balance the books, so to speak. We have to try to balance the environmental impacts that are occurring because of the operation of the dam and our societal obligations.
Our co-op buys and distributes the power directly from Western Area Power Administration. That power is distributed to irrigation farmers. Those farmers have been having hard times for many, many years. It's also distributed to a retirement community, and those people are on fixed incomes.
The primary reason for fluctuating river levels is the fact that the dam was authorized and constructed in order to provide load-following power generation. That is, when the demand goes up, the power plant opens the gates and the flows go up. When the demand for electricity goes down, then the flows are diminished.
That fluctuation in flow is having a tremendous impact on the resources within Grand Canyon National Park. It seems to be taking all the sediment out of the system. If we don't have sediment, we don't have substrate for vegetation. We don't have backwaters that are required by the endangered humpback chub in certain life history stages. We don't have something to stabilize the archaeological sites found along the river. We don't have camping beaches for recreationists. We need sediment, and the fluctuating flows are taking the sediment out of the system.
The management and the employees of the Navajo Generating Station are very concerned about the environment and specifically about the visibility issue in the Grand Canyon. There's a tremendous amount of information and data that's been collected over the years and is currently being analyzed and assessed and will be used by the EPA in making their ruling. The action that would be taken would be dependent upon the required cleanup based on the EPA rule. And in the worst case, that would probably be limestone scrubbers or sulfur dioxide scrubbers, which could cost the plant in the neighborhood of $500 million in capital investment and as much as $100 million a year to operate. So you and I, the consumers, and where the Bureau of Reclamation owns part of this plant, the taxpayer, would all pay for that cleanup.
And I think most of those consumers would be willing to pay a little bit more for their power to know that they were assuring the preservation of resources within Grand Canyon National Park.
As with most worthwhile conservation issues, some degree of sacrifice will be necessary to preserve two of Grand Canyon's greatest resources, wild open space and clean air. Once they're gone, there's no technology known to man that can bring them back.
Tastes like a beer, cause it should, cause it's brewed like a beer. Of course it's good. Working out or working late, when you're thirsting for a break. Let's be perfectly clear, it's what beer drinkers drink when they're not drinking beer. O'Doul's.
O'Doul's, the brew from Anheuser-Busch, with the alcohol naturally removed for real beer taste and only 70 calories.
Anytime, anywhere, it's what beer drinkers drink when they're not drinking beer. O'Doul's.
I can't give my child everything, and that really hurts. But he knows I love him, and I'm doing everything I can, like making sure he's healthy. I got a booklet at my food stamp office with all kinds of things on what he should eat. That's real important. I wish I could give him more, but we're going to be just fine.
For the love of your kids, get your free nutrition booklet at your food stamp office.
Hey, honey, you want to get the camcorder? Bring it out.
Okay, Phil.
Don't hit away, okay?
Concentrate, Ryan.
Swing. Oh, man, I told you too soon.
You ready, better?
Let's send this tape to Gramps.
Okay, watch the ball. Come here, look at this. Honey, come on.
Come on, boy. Watch the ball. Yes! Ryan, run!
This big moment in Little League history was brought to you by Canon, the official camcorder of Little League Baseball.
When sports scream, when arms are sore, when legs ache, when muscles hurt. Why sports scream? Massaging sports cream in brings fast pain relief. No medicine-y smell, no odor. Why sports cream? Because it works.
Athlete's Foot. Every year, over 28 million Americans get it. Try NP27. Its doctor-recommended ingredient stops burning and itching fast. NP27. Nothing's a better cure for Athlete's Foot.
This Nixon is a crook. Stolen base leader Otis Nixon sparks the surprising Braves. Pittsburgh's Barry Bonds has some speed of his own to turn this game into a real track meet. Don't blink, you might miss ESPN's Wednesday Night Baseball.
This was the first visit for these two world champions.
To me, the Grand Canyon is probably the most legendary river. Everybody I've spoken to has been here and said, you just got to do it. If you're into kayaking, you've got to run the Grand Canyon one day.
I think the Grand Canyon is very wild. People say, well, it's wild, but you can't imagine until you're there and you see that kind of landscape. Nobody is there, so that's very special.
I don't think you can spend 18 days on a river in Europe and not see anybody other than the people who are on your trip.
My sense of peace and relaxation just grew deeper. Soon, Kirk Baker coaxed me into the double kayak for my first lesson.
Stroke stabilizes us. So the boat, instead of being just 2 feet wide, is actually 8 feet wide. We have 4 feet that we can reach on either side of our boat. Very good. Feel the flatness?
Yes.
Of the paddle now?
Yes.
Now, as we're getting close to the eddy line, we're going to let the current turn us downstream.
Okay.
And go with the flow. In other words, we're going to lean to the left a little bit. We're on the left, so we're going to lean left. And you can feel the currents pushing you now. You don't have to stroke. Feel the current pushing? Mm-hmm. And I'm in the eddy. Now we're going to stay right on this eddy line, and you're going to come in the eddy, and I'm going to be out in the current. And see how it spins us around there? Mm-hmm.